I don't know about you, but if this ever happened to me, I'd be screwed. I do not have the food, the preparations, anything to survive any apocalyptic situation. I'd be cooked. We were talking about The Last House, the new horror thriller apocalyptic movie on Netflix that just released a few days ago, and it's been getting a lot of hate for whatever reason, and I'm here to talk about it. If you guys don't know who I am Ant. I am your casual movie reviewer. I go into movies with a casual mindset and give you my average movie review. I'm not going to let one little aspect or one little film method or whatever it ends up being ruin the entire movie for me. I go in with an open mind and I come out and give you an open-minded review. So let's talk about it. Going into this movie, I had no idea what to expect. I saw like one little clip of him like kicking the door, trying to get out. That was all I got out of this. And then I went into the movie thinking like this is gonna be good. I left the movie thinking it was pretty solid. That like this is a Netflix movie. I keep saying left, but like I left my couch thinking this movie was fine. Like it's not doing great. I think it's got like a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes along with the audience review. I don't know why people don't like this. I thought this was fine. I thought this was fun. It has a lot of emotion, a lot of interesting aspects to this that make it good. I mean, this is a movie that takes a sort of concept that we've seen before, but adds a little bit of an original spin. I don't think we've ever seen a movie where they're locked in a house because of something like this. Not to mention the monster or the creature in this film is not a creature that we've seen before when it comes to apocalyptic things. It's not an alien of any sort of type. It's not zombies. It's nothing like that. It's something interesting. It's something new. And I really can't think of a movie off the top of my head where it had a creature like this. And I think that was cool. I think that alone makes this movie solid. It's something interesting that can keep my attention, that it's also something that we haven't seen. So if you don't know what The Last House is about, it is about a family who suddenly is sealed inside their home, must work together to survive against the dwindling resources and the ominous threat keeping them trapped. So if you like survival movies and you like apocalyptic movies, I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of this. This movie has a lot of elements that make it interesting in a way. It's got that family dynamic where it's just a family sealed inside their home, where you've got stressing situations where you're going crazy because you're sealed in your house for 5 to 6 years. Like that's crazy. I love my house, but I couldn't imagine just being stuck inside my house for 5 to 6 years, along with, you know, the apocalyptic nature of this movie, losing food, running out, possible running out of electricity, you know, having to watch your neighbors struggle with the same thing, along with emotional elements. They have a dog, and if you're a dog lover, if you're a pet lover, this is going to hit you in more ways than one. I can tell you that right now. There are multiple pets and animal deaths in this movie. It's going to hit you, and it really has a lot to this movie that makes it interesting. So let's talk about some of the pros. Again, I like the creature in this movie. It's very original. It's something that we really haven't seen in a movie. When it comes to apocalyptic movie, we see, what do we see? We see aliens, we see zombies, dinosaurs. We see a lot of that. This is like a creature we haven't seen. I thought it was something at first, and then they really never described what this could be. But just the nature of this creature is interesting on its own. Along with the elements that you get in this movie, you really have this nice family dynamic where they're having, like I said, these stressing situations with the family dog, with the food, trying to keep, you know, at first the kids are little kids, trying to keep them protected from the real nature of what's going on. There's a lot to this film that makes it very, very interesting. And it's really not that long. It's like just under 2 hours, and it really doesn't feel like that. It really does feel like a good, you know, short hour and a half movie, because there's just so much to it that I really enjoyed. Now let's talk about the cons. I really didn't have too many cons. At first, I thought the acting was a little corny, and that's only in maybe the first 10, 15 minutes. I just thought they were trying to, you know, kind of feel their way of how they want to do their characters. And I think once they found that feeling, once they found that family dynamic that they were all looking for to blend off of each other, I think the movie moves pretty smooth. At first, it did feel very corny elements to the acting. But like I said, once they found it, it was good. The acting really did shape up quickly. Along with, there are a few scenes that are a bit dragged out. You know, some of the survival elements of just, you know, tuning with stuff to try to, you know, survive in a house between growing stuff and catching food inside of a house where none of the windows or none of the doors locked. I feel like some of those were drawn out a bit, but I think it does add to what you get at not only the end of the movie, but how they survived for so long. I think the cast really did have fun. Like I said, they were trying to find that family element. I feel like based off of just the way they were kind of corny and didn't really have chemistry at the beginning of this movie, I feel like they really found it throughout filming in this film, and you can kind of see it as the film goes on. So I do think the cast had fun. Like I said, I didn't know much about this movie. I don't even know, if they've been doing interviews or anything like that. But you can see that they really found their footing, and, they finally find that chemistry with everything. I think they just found each other in a way they weren't expecting. Whereas maybe at the beginning of filming or this process, they were kind of just thrown into this. That's kind of what it felt like to me. So let's talk about the standout moment of the film. If you haven't seen The Last House, you should dip out now because I'm going to spoil a very important part of this film, along with, getting into some of the spoiler aspects at this point now. So if you haven't seen the movie, dip out now. But yeah, guys, we're going to talk about the standout moment of the film. All right, so the standout moment of the film that I felt was when, you see I think it's right around the point where the old woman across the street passes away and all the kids see it. They're very stressed out. At that same time, the dog is getting sick. They ran out of, food for the dog. They ran out of medicine for the dog because the dog is older. And the mom has to take the kids to the other room so the dad can take the gun and put the dog out of his misery. Obviously, we know what happens after that. And then I don't think that's the standout moment for obvious reasons, but the standout moment is when they are discussing what to do with the dog. We could cremate it in the fireplace. We could do something to survive with it. And having to come up with that option is very worrying and very interesting because, when you're put in a survival situation where you're running out of food, none of the doors and windows are opening, what are you going to do to survive, especially when there's no way to get more? It's a difficult situation. I think this standout moment really takes this film to a way crazier point and really shows you like, oh man, things are getting dire in this film. So with that being said, guys, let's talk about answering big questions. Would I watch it again? Would I recommend it? And is it going to be better in streaming or in theaters? I think we're going to kind of ditch that question just because this is a streaming only movie. And I feel like this does feel like a streaming only movie. This does feel like something that you should just throw on at home. And I mean, you can't really watch it in theaters because it's not available in theaters. It's only on Netflix. So we're just going to toss that question. So today it's just going to be answer two big questions, which is would I watch it again and would I recommend it? So would I watch it again? I probably will. I want to show this probably to my girlfriend. I probably want to see this to my sister and to my mom, or at least recommend it to them because I think this movie does do a lot of interesting elements. And like I said, it is just a movie that you can throw on and enjoy with the family. It does feel a very family film. And if you know what I mean, like it's a film where you don't have to put a lot of energy into understanding the film, to watching the film. It's just a movie you could chill. When you're looking for something for the family, this is it. And I think it was interesting enough where I could watch this multiple times. I think watching it multiple times after I just watched it is going to be where I'm going to get more beneficial. I don't know if this is a movie down the line in a few years. I'll go back and be like, you know what, let me go back to that movie and watch it. I don't know if it's going to be that interesting in a couple years, but I think after a first watch, rewatching it, I will definitely get some benefit out of it. What I recommend, as I said, I think this is a movie for families. I recommend it to all of you to at least check it out. I'm definitely going to recommend it to a lot of people in my family. I think it is something that they will enjoy. And it's just an interesting way to do the apocalyptic, film genre. So I do think it is very easily recommendable because it's a very fine film. With that being said, I gave this film a 4 stars out of 5. I do 5-star reviews just because I feel like I get more out of it than having 10 stars. I feel like 10 stars is too broad. It's just too wide of a spectrum where 5 is much easier. But sometimes, especially movies with like this, where it's a very small spectrum with 5 stars, it's hard to kind of do it. So I was in the middle of 3 and 4 stars. I decided to give this film a 4 star just because it does a lot of interesting things between the family dynamic, the apocalyptic nature, the new creatures we get, the emotional drama that this film has. I think this adds just enough to get that 4-star review, and that's why I gave it that. So with that being said, guys, let me know if you guys liked The Last House. Let me know if you hated The Last House because it's getting a lot of hate. A lot of people are not liking this film, and I just can't understand why. So comment down below why you aren't liking the film. What is it about the film that you did not like? And I will see you guys in the next movie review. Peace.